Hello everybody and welcome back. So what we've got to do this time is repair this housing that is off a Fendt tractor. This is the housing where the PTO shaft comes out the rear of the diff housing, and it's had a bearing failure on the shaft itself. This bearing here has failed. This is a new one obviously. But the bearing failed, and what it's done, it's chewed out the locating flange on the end of this housing. Unfortunately, you can't buy these parts anymore. They're obsolete supposedly. They don't exist. And yeah, so we've got to try and repair this one. What you see me machine up at the start of this video was just a simple plug that I'm going to use to hold this down to the mill table, this housing. So this sits down inside in the there's a reason, or a lip down in there that I can hold this down onto and hold it down to the table, and then I'll indicate off the bearing, the machine surface on the inside that the end bearing goes on with the coaxial indicator, and I'll sweep the top to make sure it's not tilted. But that end there I ran over with a flat stone, and it looks like it's a machine surface, so I'm just hoping it's all true, well, that surface area is true to this end surface here, I hope, but we'll find out when I sweep the top here. Anyway, that's what we've got to do. I'm only going to sort of get one crack at it, and hopefully I don't screw it up. So the sleeve I make will be just held in with Loctite. That's what they want. It doesn't do anything but locate this in onto the back of the diff housing, and then obviously when it's bolted up, the bolts take the rest of the, they do most of the work. But I'll explain what I'm going to do once I get it all set up in the mill, and how I think I'm going to do it anyway. So I'll get it mounted up and we'll get into it. Solid. I'm getting it fairly close here, playing around with the indicator, but before I get too excited with this indicator, I better sweep the top and see how flat it is. So I've just swept around there. That's 0.1 of a mil variation from here to here, and it's zero, basically zero from there to there. It read the same when I was at 90 degrees to this on both sides. I'm going to leave it at that. I will set the coaxial indicator back up and then indicate that bore in. That's a beautiful little Mitsutoyo indicator, that one. It was sent to me by a fellow by the name of Stephen. Sent that in to me, and it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you, mate. It does get used. And we have got one hell of a storm brewing up here. It's as black as a dead dog's guts out the side. I haven't seen the sky that black for ages. grill back up, you donkey. I'll have a bit of a fiddle around here and see if I can get that to run as true as I possibly can. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it, I think. I'll have a bit of a fiddle around off camera and see if I can zero that right out, but I doubt it by the feels of that bore in there. But it's worth a try. Okay, I've had a fair fiddle around with that, and that is the closest I can get. It's less than half a division on that dial, so not there in 0.01, but how accurate they are I don't know. I normally go until I just can't get the needle to move at all, but that's the best I can get it. I'm happy with that. I have swept it down the bottom and up the top, and it's that close. It's not worth fiddling around with anymore. So that will do. Rightio, so I have touched off. I've set the depth to 6mm from the top of this face here, like the auto stop. Yeah, touched off, so it's a matter of just machining this out now to 90mm. That's the diameter of the bearing. That's what has to go to, out to 90mm neat. And then I'll machine the sleeve to go in there. Anyway, we'll see how we go. And that's what we've got to do over and over again until we get it out to 90mm. It's not going to be easy to measure because it is pretty bloody shallow. So that's going to be a bit of a drama, isn't it? So we are at 87.06. Yeah, that's better, 87.05. So that's what I've measured with these, and telescopic gauge, which is not real easy to use in there because you sort of can't get a twist on it, so you're guessing more than anything. I haven't had a lot of experience measuring with these accurately, so I am going to give it a go.
See what I get. It's very hard to get to feel like. There we go.
So with these I'm getting 87.08. So I don't think I'll use these because I'm getting two of the same readings of two devices, but this one here I'm getting a fraction bigger. It's probably just the way I'm using it. It's probably not the right job to be learning them on. But yeah, it does have to go to 90 mil. So I'm going to be using the normal way I set the boring head, which is by the indicator of the face. I've had good success. People tell me that it's not the right way to do it because you end up with a cosine error. But this ain't no rocket ship. So that's zeroed out. See how I just set the head over 0.5 mil or 0.25, and then we can make the cut. $89.51. So another 0.5 mil to go. Well, here goes nothing. So in theory that should have been the final cut. Just hope I have got it right. I'll shift the camera and bring you guys around and show you. Hopefully that isn't too close. $90.03. And that's telling me it's 90.02. Does have a little bit of a burr on the top there, but I'll soon get rid of that with a stone, I think. Before I went inside last night, I got a bit of hollow tube and just set it up for this morning. machined it down so to fit in the jaws nicer. This is sitting at about 112.5 on the OD and about 65 on the ID. Finish size is obviously 90 OD and 80 ID. So there's a bit of material to come out of there, and I've just parted off at 10 mil wide. So it'll have 6 mil down in that. So that'd be 6 mil down in the recess here, and then protruding out 4 mil. It should all work out pretty good. Anyway, I better get hacking this off. There's a fair bit of material to come off. That was breaking a chip, quite good. We'll get a measurement on that, set the DRO, and we'll be right. $99.99. Might have to run a bit of coolant, I think, because it is getting, yeah, it'll save stuffing around later. Run a bit of coolant. $92.03. I might do the inside now and then come back and do the final couple of passes on the OD once I get all the inside out, because it's not a crucial dimension whether it may move or do something. If there's any stresses in that material. Just trying to think ahead just in case something does go wrong. Okay, I've set up the boring bar and I'll knock the inside out to 80 mil. It's not an overly crucial dimension. I'll do a swipe and then get a measurement and then set the DRO and see how we go. .1 or 66.07, sorry. 78. So DRO is correct. Take the last cut, bring it out to 80. Okay, that's the ID done. Go back to absolute. I'll get rid of that boring bone here before I go any further. And I'll take the last final cut on the OD, bring it to 90, I'll be 2 cuts, and then part it off after I do the chamfers and so on. We should be right. Alright, just take a mill off. I'll speed the lathe up, and then I'll get a micrometer and check the measurement. Show you that left a much nicer finish. Chip control was crap, but we got a nice finish. Technically that should be 91. It's 91.04. But I'll just go and check this mic with a standard, because it has been a long time since I've used it, this one, so I'll just double check it, make sure it is correct. Rightio, I did check that again, and I checked that mic with a standard and it was spot on. So we're at 91.03 and take the final pass. I do have to chamfer both edges and then part it off. I'm not overly concerned if I do have to hit this with a bit of emery just to take the last 0.1 or something off, or 0.1 or whatever. $90mm on the money. Pretty stoked about that. So it's got to put a good lead on this edge. I'll just do that by hand. And now set up a parting tool and part off. I'm going to run a bit of cool wipe, so actually what I'll do, I will go partial the way in, then I'll chamfer it. Just use the T&MG insert to chamfer it and then finish parting it off. pretty bloody happy with that. Obviously not going to, yeah, that'll go in the housing that way up. I'll just run a deburring tool around the guts of that and we're done. Every time I blew it out, more chips come up and landed on the top. I reckon with a bit of green Loctite and just soft face hammer or dead blow hammer, just tap that in and we're done. Now I'll get a bit of acetone, I'll wipe all this down, wipe it all down so there's no oils or nothing on there. We should be right to fit it up. Oh, it's either now or never. I just hope I've got enough Loctite left. She's in like Flynn. Actually went better than what I thought. That's it. It's in. That job's complete. Take it out of here now. That was a horrible thought. Lucky that, yeah. That would have been a bugger if I'd have made that ring too small on the inside and that, yeah. That would have been interesting. Anyway, that's that job done. Pretty happy with that. There we go. All done and dusted. Turned out pretty nice in the end. And it's right on the money dimension wise. And I don't think it's going to come out, so anyway, I can take this back to him now and he can start assembling the tractor again and yeah, get it going. Righto guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully it won't be too long until I get another episode out, so see you later. Hooroo.